The reason you clicked on this video is to see a comprehensive breakdown of the top careers and jobs in 2021. A lot of research went into this video, and believe me when I say that enterprise software sales, investment banking, and management consulting make a lot of freaking money. As your time on this earth is fleeting and economies are changing, it's mission critical that you choose the right career path that optimizes for your happiness and earning potential. Each enterprise software sales, investment banking, and management consulting make the list because they are each knowledge-based jobs. The skills required in each of these career paths are not easily replicable, will not get automated anytime soon, and present massive upside because you are generally rewarded based on performance, not just clocking in and clocking out. If you haven't already, make sure to tap that subscribe button below and smash that like button for me. It really helps the channel. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what you can expect to do in each one of these professions, how much exactly you can expect to make, and then at the end of the video, make sure to stick around. I'm sharing which path that I am betting my life on and why. Enterprise software sales, otherwise known as complex sales, usually refers to a very long deal cycle, complex decision-making process, a lot of moving parts, really long deal cycle. Look at this chart right here. Pretty much in enterprise software sales, you need to start out as a sales development or business development representative. You work your way up to a quota-carrying role as a mid-market account executive. You're closing deals. Eventually, you'll promote up to an enterprise software seller. And essentially, you're working with enterprise organizations. This will vary based on company to company, but for example, in my organization, the enterprise sellers work with businesses that do $5 billion in revenue or more. You have a much smaller account list. You need to be much more strategic. The average deal cycle takes between 12 and 18 months from the time you have that initial conversation to the time they sign up on the deal. It takes a long amount of time, and within these deal cycles, there's usually 6.8 decision makers on average. So you need to get a lot of buy-in. Think about an organizational chart with all these different people and departments. You need buy-in, you need to present the value, and eventually they'll agree and you'll sell the deals. And you can make a lot of money. It's very lucrative. There's a lot of upside. Looking at this chart right here, this is what you can expect to make. Based on my experience, I've found that you can expect to make between $250,000 and $400,000 on average. You could do a lot more. And your baseline is usually about 200, 225K. I think 250K is average because I know you, the viewer who watches this, is driven, motivated, and if you happen to end up in enterprise software sales, you're not making any less than 300K. But you can see in enterprise sales, you can do it in multiple different industries, but just know, think about this, the conclusion, you're selling very large value deals to very large organizations. They're very important. They have very important business impacts, and there's a lot of upside with it. One of the biggest differences between this and investment banking and consulting is you're not reliant on one annual bonus. You essentially will get compensated based on your performance as you go throughout the year, and you don't need to put in grueling hours to still have massive success. That's one of the biggest upsides of this, guys. Investment banking, think Gordon Gekko, Wall Street. From the outside looking in and based on my research, I've never actually worked on Wall Street, but I think fast-paced, high stakes, highly regulated, blood on the streets, capital markets. There's a lot going on there, but based on my research, I uncovered that essentially investment banks help companies and governments raise capital by issuing stocks or bonds. They also work on M&As, mergers and acquisitions, and essentially they act as intermediaries between security issuers and investors and folks trying to make their firms go public. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack. Essentially, there's different components to investment banking, different departments per se, and essentially the different functions. Looking at this graph right here, you work on mergers and acquisitions. Typically, when you start, you can expect to be an analyst. You're doing a lot of research. There's IPOs, risk managements, derivatives. And when you get into it, guys, a lot of people think Wall Street, a lot of money. I read a quote that the initial associate and analyst, when you first start on Wall Street, you can expect to work between 70 and 90 hours per week. Just put that in perspective. Think about how much you're working right now. Is that something you'd want to do? But after looking at these numbers, this may be something you aspire to go and do. So looking at this graph right here on the actual pay structure, you start in investment banking as an analyst. Base salary, 85 to 100K, give or take. And you're getting a big annual bonus at the beginning or end of each year. And this is common in finance, and this is what you can expect to do. You eventually will promote up to an associate. your on-target earnings going up to about 180 to 250K. Eventually you'll get promoted to a VP, 220 to 400K. So now you're getting in the enterprise software seller earnings range. But here's the thing, you can go to a new level in investment banking, become a managing director. I've read this takes between 10 to 15 years, especially at Goldman Sachs. You can expect to make over $1 million a year. And you're looking at between $500,000 and $10 million in annual on-target earnings. So when we compare this to enterprise software sales, you have high upside, you have managed downside, and you really control your fate. In this, it seems like you need to put in a lot more time, and it's going to be a lot more competitive, but there is much higher upside. But what are the sacrifices of that? The time you must put in, the resulting of your health. I mean, you've seen a lot of these guys on Wall Street, but hey, that's what it looks like. That's an objective look at investment banking. Management consulting, this is the area I knew the least about, so I had to do the most research. I know many consultants. I used to live with a consultant, and what you can expect is you need dual monitors, you need strong analytical skills, you need strong presentation skills, and you analyze companies. You want to help them become more profitable or mitigate risk, lower costs. Essentially, you're looking at how they do business. And specifically what you're looking at is the desired outcome of bringing in a management consultant is to help the company become more profitable or competitive. To achieve this goal, the consultant may recommend a variety of strategies to alter the organization's structure or operation methods. Essentially, you're trying to increase profits, better systems, improve overall efficiency. So when you want to get into management consultant, here are the premier firms you want to work for. You have Boston Consulting Group, Accenture, Bain & Company, McKinsey. And when you get into these firms, what you can expect to make, in the top 10% annual salary is more than 150K, and then the bottom 10% annual salary is about 50K. If you're working at one of those firms, you're going to make way more than that. But essentially consulting, you go in, you listen to the company's problems, you meet with leadership, and then you start to look at the numbers, and then you develop a hypothesis based on your knowledge and expertise, and then you go present it to the board, they make the changes accordingly, and hopefully they become more profitable. I know you typically need an MBA to go far in management consulting, so that could be a plus or a minus depending on how you look at it. And I know management consulting, you're not necessarily hourly paid, but the company bills the customer based on hours you work for that given project. So I know that's one of the downsides. You're not really capped, and I know that you can make a ton of money and it's super lucrative. I also know based on the consultants, I know you can expect to travel. You typically will have a client, you go on site, you'll be with them from anywhere from a week, a couple weeks to a couple months. So you do a lot of traveling. And the path I choose is enterprise software sales. For those of you who have been watching this channel, that comes with no surprise. I make sales videos daily, trying to help you become a better salesperson. I wanted to objectively look at the landscape of what are the top professions you can get into. And I really do believe it's enterprise software sales, investment banking, management consulting. The reason why I choose enterprise software sales is a couple things. First and foremost, you don't need to completely sell your soul to make a lot of money. In investment banking, if you go to Wall Street, you're most likely selling your soul, exchanging it for a lot of money. So perhaps you'll make a little bit more money than me, but at what cost? In management consulting, I don't love to travel. And that's just, I really don't have the strongest analytical skills, so that's not for me. So those are a couple of the reasons, just at a high level. Breaking it down, enterprise software sales, you need to be smart, but you really don't need to be an exceptional person to be able to go out and make a ton of money. It really comes down to your communication skills, your ability to build rapport with people, your ability to understand their business and align their challenges with your solutions. And you learn a lot of these skills along the way as you start out as an SDR. That's what I was for 2 years. Then you become a mid-market account executive. That's what I'm currently at right now. And then within the next 5 years, if I continue to perform, I could become an enterprise software sales rep around probably between 30 and 35, perhaps even sooner if you really perform. So there's a fast track and a defined lane to get there as long as you come in and perform and really just master your craft of sales. It's something that you can work on each and every day. And I just love that aspect of it. I like calling people, and I like the flexibility. You really can have a work-life balance. If you hit your annual number in the first 6 to 8 months, you could hypothetically take a 2-month vacation. You just need to prepare for the next year. But just know that there's a lot of flexibility. The lifestyle is great. the people you work with in tech. I think tech is better than finance right now. I think consulting will always be relevant, but tech is where you want to be. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'll let you guys decide what path is best for you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I put a lot of work and effort into it. So if you appreciate that, make sure to hit that subscribe, eviscerate the like button, and leave me a comment below. I'd love to answer any specific questions you have. Hit me up on LinkedIn as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.